What is the one thing Australians do more often than almost everyone in the world? Not that. The answer is voting. And as the country prepares to head to the polls yet again, a new study says there could be billions saved by moving from a 3-year cycle to 4. But are we ready?
Australia loves changing leaders. Sometimes we don't even bother waiting for an election. But with our 3-year voting cycle an outlier, does it feel like we're casting those ballots a little too often?
But I just don't care. I mean, really, it doesn't make any difference at all to me.
Fair enough, but other people are a bit more passionate on the subject. A recent survey of current Prime Ministers finding 100% of them are in favour of pushing it out a bit.
I think that our terms are too short.
We should have 4-year fixed terms.
We need 4-year fixed terms to provide certainty.
A new study from consultancy firm Mandala today revealing that a move to 4-year terms could net more than $60 billion in savings over 20 years.
The direct savings really fundamentally come from having fewer elections. It's a really big logistical exercise. The indirect cost is businesses stop making investment decisions because they want to know the outcome of an election.
All our states and territories have already moved to 4-year terms. And on a global scale, Australia is one of just 6 to stick with a 3-year rotation, while 2 have 2.
Well, I think 4 years would be better because they'd have more chance to carry forward their program.
Another year is not going to make a difference.
I think it's a marvellous idea.
Good idea. I think it's a good idea too.
Definitely a good idea.
Yo, I'm on the news!
Yeah, this lad's on the news.
A 3-year cycle means that governments are constantly looking at the next election rather than thinking about a slightly longer period that allows them to enact reform, see that reform implemented and see the effects of then felt on the public.
But if Australia wants to follow suit, it would require a referendum, which we tried before. In 1988, 67% of Aussies voted against changing it to 4.
If a government's trying to pass bad policy and they just last forever, that would kind of be terrible.
I'm a very conservative guy, keep it how it is.
It might give a rogue government confidence that it could act with impunity for its full 4-year term, as the Governor-General could not force it to be accountable to the people in an election.
So is Australia ready to make the triennial quadrennial? Or is 4 years too long to wait for a taste of that sweet democracy sausage?
We wouldn't dare come after the democracy sausage. You know, that is a sacred institution and that should remain the same.
Well, political journalist Sam Maiden joins us for the next 3 minutes, but I vote we extend it to 4. Oh. Sam, do you think we should move to a 4-year cycle?
Look, I think 4 years sounds fabulous, but I also think that the Prime Minister of the day should retain the ability to decide exactly when the election is held. And I think that when you dig into that research from our friends from the consultancy, the $60 billion figure, only an absolute fraction of that is actually from having less elections. The rest of it is all about business getting their knickers in a twist and not being able to make any decisions because they don't know when the election's going to be. And so I think that I'm not sure that it's quite, you know, and then how much would a referendum cost? Look, I do think it's amazing, crazy, brave, given his experience with referendums, that Anthony Albanese wants another one. But, you know, some people are gluttons for punishment.
Yeah, as you're acknowledging, the PM is saying that he wants 4-year terms. Just in terms of the merits or otherwise of this, obviously Australians have been pretty ready to get rid of governments in recent years. And we're living in times where people actually worry about politicians hanging on to power for too long. Is it maybe a good thing that we all get a say more frequently?
Well, I think that there is definitely a legitimate argument that it means that there's not enough run-up to bed down really serious reforms. And so we, run the risk of having a government that's kind of a tick-tock kind of attention deficit government where everything's moving too fast. I think we need to have a bit more time to get things done. But, I mean, I think it's a rough thing, being in charge of government isn't what it used to. You go back to Tudor England and the king could cut off his wife's heads and start up a whole new religion just to get divorced. And now we're saying the Prime Minister can't even decide when he calls an election. A bit rough. Are you advocating for people to get their heads chopped off?
Silence is an answer, mate. Silence is an answer. What about if we get a hung parliament that can't get anything done? I mean, that means we'd have an extra year of stalemates, wouldn't it?
Well, I think that some of the speculation, so for example, that the Governor-General could no longer kick a government out, I don't think that's right. I mean, you know, you'd have to make another whole change to the Constitution to allow for that. So, I mean, as far as I understand it, it would be more of a more basic idea that the election was held every 4 years and this is the date. But I don't think that would preclude necessarily a government having a vote of no confidence, for example, in it, or indeed the Governor-General dismissing a government as they did with the Whitlam government.
Sam, I have some other suggestions for democracy. Obviously, I don't want to cut anyone's head off. I'm not crazy. But what about this for an idea? Let's get rid of elections and let's just make being the Prime Minister like jury duty and everyone has to have a go at some point.
Yeah,
what do you think
right.
about that?
OK. Oh, wow. OK. I thought you were going for like a full kind of fascism thing for a minute there. But no, you're going for a fascism meet reality TV vibe.
Well, yeah.
Look, I mean, they seem to be trying that right now in a country called the United States. I don't know. Let's see how it goes.
Hey, Sam, I mean, isn't election time like Christmas for you? Like, don't you want more of them? Isn't the most exciting time in Canberra when an election is on?
Yes, it is. And we do enjoy the speculation. And I think for all these people who say we don't want the speculation, it's too hard, I'd say to you, just, you know, sit it out if you're not into it. Let us take over. We'll go crazy with it. We'll have a bit of speculation.
Or off with your head.
Yeah.
I like that option. That's more exciting.
Sam Maiden, great chatting.
Thank you.